and protect the issue of human rights and the rights of minorities. He has given categorical assurance to that effect, and we need to give them some time. And we, as neighbors, particularly India, should do whatever we can to ensure that there is a peaceful transition in Bangladesh, what the people decide, but finally through a democratic process. And I just hope well for people of Bangladesh, and I think our duty is to make sure that there is peace immediately, and then the transition that they plan should happen as soon as possible, particularly democratic transition, because economically they were doing relatively well, and they need to sustain that and probably enhance that or propel economic growth. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Prime Minister Razaul Hassan with the Hindustan Times. I was just wondering if we could throw some more light on the cooperation with India in food security. There has been, Malaysia has been wanting more rice from India, and there has been, I think, one consignment that was approved today. If you could throw some more light on food security cooperation.
Well, we did a little bit on this, and the technical committees and must work, and in our style of governing something a bit different. We say in 3 months we need to have specific programs to be forwarded by the officers, to be submitted to both prime ministers. But on food security is of course a priority. We still spent about close to $15 billion of import, which is totally unacceptable for a country that's with fertile land and abandoned land at our disposal. But we're doing it. We have asked Indian support for their technology, for the expertise, research, and jointly they have asked also to assist in some field areas, including palm oil, which we will, of course, reciprocate positively. And we still import rice, and I've asked for the assurance of Prime Minister to make sure that the supply is stable from India. But I think both in the research, in the technological transfer, in joint operations, in investments and food security was given a priority in our discussions. And incidentally, the Hindustan Times have been kind to me in my period of adversity. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Good evening, Prime Minister. This is Manas Pratim Bhuyan. I work with PTI, Press Trust of India. It's a news agency. I'd like to ask you about the overall situation in Indo-Pacific, particularly in the context of great power competition that we have seen in that region. And there have been criticisms against the formation of various blocs. Case in point is Quad. So how do you see Quad's overall agenda, particularly vis-a-vis the Indo-Pacific and overall situation, your assessment?
Our position, as I said, centrality is to avoid any action or decision or policy or move that could be construed to be unnecessarily provocative. So that position to me is paramount, is pertinent in ensuring a peaceful region, particularly the Asia-Pacific, both in the Indian Ocean or the Chinese, South China Sea. And I think that position should be respected. As far as we are concerned, bilaterally we should engage, multilaterally we should engage. So any move that it could be deemed, it may not be intentionally construed as provocative, but if it's seen by the other side provocative, you need to engage and avoid, because there's too much at stake. And to me, politics and governance is about welfare of the people, not ego of one or two personalities. Our people have suffered immensely, and it is our commitment, having leading governments and leaders, to ensure that we have policies that remain sane, to focus on the welfare of people. And this is, to me, an excellent time, post-COVID, after such hardship. It is time that we refocus. That is why I can, for example, be strong in some of my views, be it the oppression in Myanmar or the colonization of Gaza. But for our region, we should avoid. We have learned in the sub-regions where there is calamity, where there is wars, it is the people that suffer. Thank you.
All right. We have overshot our time, but since Prime Minister has been so kind in answering questions, yes, we perhaps can have one or two more, please.
In future, if yuan was to supersede the dollar, would Malaysia have any problem with that in a rising global south?
You ask about the future. Normally when people ask me about the future, I say, "Que sera, sera." No, jokes aside. No, why should be tight? I mean, we use the dollar. It's still an important agency for exchange. But why should we be obsessed or dependent on that? What we are doing now is to work on a viable alternative that will be more just. I told the Prime Minister during the bilateral session, you know, last year, investments grew. Growth was impressive. Inflation was down, low, 2%. Unemployment, 3%. And still, major attack on the ringgit. Nothing to do with economic fundamentals. Just what Fed in Washington, D.C. decide. So there's nothing much we can do except to use other avenues where we can help resolve and ease the impact. That is why, whilst we still are dependent in some areas, but the transactions in dollars, but we use our own local currency denominations to ensure that at least we have certain percentage into our deals that could probably reduce the negative impact. Because finally, in managing an economy, we talk about fundamentals. The fundamentals are well guarded, and there are tough measures. Subsidy rationalization, ensure that the quality education and public health and basic infrastructure all being done. And good governance, wiping or combating against excesses and corruption, all moves are being done. But still, we are finally subjected to the decision at the Fed. This, of course, is nothing about a fair international architecture. No. I used to be, one time, even chairman of the World Bank and IMF, or Development Committee. But my position remained consistent. I mean, the over-dependence of a system that do not cater for the interests of the majority, or the principle of just order, be it in the trade or in financial architecture, cannot be accepted any longer. Now, since we do not have the capacity to change now, we do it in our own way, at least reduce the impact. And I think if we can use, for example, with the $20 billion trade, or $80 billion trade, a fraction, 20%, 30% in our local currency, it will ease the negative impact.
Yes, sir, please.
I am Bassem Hillis from Palestinian Embassy. I want to thank you very much, Prime Minister, because you are mentioned about our situation in Palestine, exactly in Gaza. We hope in the future stop this aggression to our civilian Palestinian people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think in India is quite familiar from the time of Mahatma Gandhi. That position was strong and uncompromising. And I think what we try to do is just to at least give a message, a very clear message. But this hypocrisy must end. I mean, you can't talk about genocide in Ukraine because bombings of some villages and 40,000 people killed. Well, this impact of war. We can condone that. But this is shocking, and I call it sheer hypocrisy. But notwithstanding, it has to end. I mean, it does not matter whether the victims are Muslims or Christians or Hindus or Buddhists or whatever. I mean, they are human beings, and in this age, for us to be, just to feel that, I'm sorry, nothing can be done. It's atrocious. I used to refer to Edward Said's politics of dispossession. I mean, we fought. India, Malaysia, Algeria, Vietnam, all fought against colonialism. There is no right for any country, for whatever reason, to conquer, control, dispossess any other society or country. But why give exception to Palestine and Gaza? Well, because some of the terrorists. Tell me in which country you don't have terrorists.